Welcome, everybody, to the KQ Show, Episode 15, Instructional Guide for Your Listening Pleasure. For those new to the show, hi, I'm Kyle. I'm just like everyone else. I wake up, wring out my undies, drink the rest of my neti pot, and then I start my day. As a young lad, I had what my parents would call the gift of gab. I love conversations and talking with interesting people. I'll be chatting with business owners, athletes, Falcor, the luck dragon, and the barefoot of an old wolf. Today's episode brings us talking with Queen Salesforce. I sit down with Autumn Young, the lead Salesforce architect at SeatGeek. She explains how the freedom of remote work has changed her career path forever and how she's helping others find the same. We talk the importance of lifelong friends, travel, mental health, dealing with loss, and mostly laugh our asses off. So please, enjoy the show. KQ Show. All right, well, welcome everyone to the KQ Show, episode 15. This thing's getting kicked off with a bang. Well, my guest today, already having fun. She is the lead Salesforce architect at SeatGeek, Indiana University grad, former alpaca rental service system. Not sure exactly how that works. Autumn Noreen Young. Edit out the bottom half.
I'm so sorry.
All right, now so just say some random shit. Basically, you want to have it probably about 6 inches.
That's what she said. How's our pitch? Are we sounding good? Do I need to move it?
Can you make like any dinosaur sound? That's choir. That's pretty good though. All right, there we go. Welcome everyone. Should just keep on. Oh, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mr. Kyle Quick.
So, we're recording this in Michigan today, so because we want to try something different than just alcohol. So
absolutely, absolutely, gotta live in Michigan.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. It's a nice place. There are a lot of deer.
Mm-hmm. There's a possum.
Wait, unpossum or one opossum?
One singular opossum?
I don't think that's how it goes either.
Yep.
All right, look, we can't cut again. This is the 5th time.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good with it. So I'm trying to get these jean shorts comfortable.
You guys, it is a spectacular sight. These jorts that Kyle is wearing, they are tight and right. They are showing those gams to the world.
We're going to live Snapchat. All right, so
you see those puppies?
Ooh, regular. There we go. Well, that's good. That's good stuff for the radio. For people.
Yeah, because they can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're decked out in your 90s gear as well. I thought it was pretty cool. Figured
got my rainbow manicure going on for the pride.
Radio, isn't it?
What?
This is terrible for radio. I realize that.
Yeah, this is the radio. I'm showing my hands like I'm on television.
I don't know what you were looking at as well. I was like, is there a camera next to me? I was just gonna roll with it. I was like, all right, what is she seeing?
I'm adorned with 90s jewelry, complete with a scrunchie, a velvet hot pink scrunchie. And I'm just really leaning into this part of my past.
It's fun. It is.
The 90s, they were a wild time for us kids.
Yeah. I was gonna be waiting out front on the bike.
Oh my God.
But then I first went to get mail and I saw my neighbor cross the way and I was like, I can't explain this. Hey, I'm trying to do a podcast. Why the shorts? Just you don't have to take your kids in. Get inside.
We should have met at Horn Court. That's where we should have met.
We would have been arrested probably.
Okay.
We could still surprise my pops though.
Do you think AJ still lives around there?
Yeah, I'm already confused. AJ. Oh, AJ. No, I don't think so. I haven't seen him.
Nope, me neither.
Unless he upgraded to a 2-wheel. I don't think.
Y'all OGs know what we're talking about.
Man, that's so far back. You just touched a part of my brain. I had to go so far back to pull that one out.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm pull these memories out like we're in Harry Potter, and I got to zoot, zoot, zoot. Those puppies right on out.
Yeah. That's the noise? You didn't even attempt to learn
No.
You gonna do a Harry Potter spell? Joking.
No, just a little zoot zoot.
Episode 9. Zoot zoot. He said it's Oh man. Oh, no. So yeah, before, before I just get way too high. To be honest, so I wanted to play, there was a game I want to play that I want to try to figure out, and I think you'd be good at it.
Okay.
So just saw it the other day. It's something new. So
Okay.
you have 60 seconds to guess the same word. Okay, what is it? We'll go 1, 2, 3, just say any word.
Okay.
Let's say you say ham, I go butter. Try to think of what
Are they real words?
Yeah, they're real words. So
Okay.
here's just like let's say we both said something. Okay, so
Yep.
just say any word, and so 1, 2, 3, ham. I did ham again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
You can
Okay.
see so then basically when you both say the word,
Yep.
then whatever those two words are, you try to figure a word out that would be something. So you kind of keep going until both of you say the same word.
Okay.
I figured I've never tried. I literally saw this morning, and I'm like, fucking write that down. We're gonna do this.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hey, hang on, let me get ham out of my head.
Yeah,
Because
get ham out.
Yeah, voice the
Get
head
it
just
out.
keeps she's doing ham dances and things. All right.
Okay, ready?
All right. 1, 2, 3. Meat.
Pennies.
You say panties or
Pen-
so pennies?
Pennies.
Okay, so meat and pennies. Okay. No, I don't know what you're right. I mean, this is good so far. So the end game is to be able to keep going.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Because you screamed panties, it looked like into the mic. All right. So it's not Okay, so we're just.
It's pennies. No.
Now you're putting accents on it. Are you saying peonies? Girl, get them peonies off the line. That's what Southern on us.
You need to clean your pennies.
All right, so pennies, and I forgot what I said. I think I said meat.
You said meat.
Okay, meat,
yes,
pennies. All right.
pennies and meat.
1, 2, 3.
Blood.
Butcher.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Cow.
Boom!
Yeah,
Nice. See how it works? Okay. We would have lost because it was only 60 seconds, but all right. I'm gonna try. All right, we're gonna try this again. I gotta think of some words.
Okay.
I just keep thinking about meat and sandwiches. I think I want a sandwich, maybe. All right, so something else. Okay.
You want a Philly cheesesteak, don't you?
I'm gonna get that steak.
Boom, boom.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Diarrhea.
Skateboard.
What did you say?
Skateboard. You said
I
diarrhea.
thought you said snake worm.
Snake worm diarrhea. That's what you get from Golden Dragon right there.
Okay.
All right, Snake World diarrhea. What'd you say? I said skateboard. You said diarrhea.
I said diarrhea. Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Fall.
Teenage.
1, 2, 3.
Boy.
1, 2, 3. Turtle. Come on.
I'm gonna pee my pants.
Not in my good couch. Teenage Mutant Boy Turtle.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
I can't breathe. Oh, okay. Teenage Mutant Boy Turtle.
It was something. I don't know. All right, we're gonna get this thing. All right. 1, 2, 3. Beer.
Turtle.
All right.
Okay. Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Budweiser.
1, 2, 3.
Flamingo.
Beer. No, I've lost where you're going. I don't know where you went.
I make no apologies.
All right, look, round 1, I think.
Okay. I'm clearing out the
I'm
energy.
just trying to think of anything in my brain besides meat.
I just keep thinking of raw steak.
So I threw out skateboard, and you're like, diarrhea. Oh, there we go.
I mean, I think that if you ate the raw steak, you could get diarrhea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Boat.
Bear.
1, 2, 3.
Forest.
1, 2, 3. Tree.
Tent.
What'd you say? Tatooine?
Tent.
Tent. Oh, I went wood. Okay.
What did you say?
I said wood.
Okay, tent wood. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Build.
Lake?
I feel like we're off. You're out of the forest. You're on a lake. I'm building shit. All right. You say lake? I said build?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Dock.
1, 2, 3. Jet
Paddle?
ski. Oh,
God damn it.
all right. Well, it felt good. I thought we were
It
getting-
did.
I first started the conversation with the whole Facebook debacle again. I think I've messed up my entire Facebook. I don't know how to use it, I think. And then I was like, man, I kept texting. I was like, hey, I thought you lived in Indy. It's like, because you're quiet on Facebook. And I was like, damn, you kept saying, no, I'm good. Drive up. I was like, well, I felt bad. I was like, there's extra bedroom. Like, I actually washed the bedding. Like, there's no loose raccoons. I felt bad. I was like, she can drive all the way up to do a podcast, drive back down. So I figured out the whole Facebook thing. I'm like, oh my God, there she is. And then I was like, oh. So, I didn't want to be extra weird and start liking everything from the past. I was like, holy shit. So I had so many stories I want to ask you about.
Yeah, you found a gold mine in there.
Yeah, because I think I don't know if you ever left Facebook, because I left for like 2 years. I thought maybe you did it at the same time or something.
I leave for little intermittent, like I tend to leave after like very big political things. I will usually detox because I get very fired up. And so I will take these tiny breaks. Like right now I don't have the Facebook app on my phone, but I'll check like my desktop. But Instagram, that's usually my go-to. But
yeah.
I love the social medias.
Yeah,
it's a good way to keep up with people, but it's also an easy way to go down a bad rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't even want to talk. I mean, there's a lot of people I think there's like an age limit about having access to social media.
Yes,
easily sway people, but yeah. We'll just we're gonna just skew it all over the place. But so I see you travel all the time. So with your is it because you work remote and everything?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. So I don't know if you remember like sort of where I came from before you met me in middle school, but we lived all over the East Coast because my stepdad was in the Navy. So I got used to moving. I never stayed at an elementary school for more than a year until I was at Edison. I did two schools per year until I was in 8th grade. And it was crazy. So I think that's sort of how it manifested in my adulthood is I can't stay still for very long.
Yeah.
And I wanna bop around. I'm always moving. I can't plant roots. I'm working on it. Building a home base, and I'm hoping that my house in Michigan becomes that home that I can finally just, this is going to be my place. This is going to be a sanctuary for me, and then I can just use it as a jumping off point to travel wherever.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what made you leave California? Because my brother recently had also left California, and a lot of people are leaving.
Did he go to Portland? Because that's where everybody goes.
No, he went to Texas. That's the other thing.
Oh,
I think it's like a split.
Yep.
But he's liking it. A lot of room, and you're allowed to do stuff.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, and that tax benefit is awesome. So I left the Bay Area because when I was married, my ex-husband had never lived away from the Bay Area, and we went up to Portland for a visit, and I was kind of getting antsy, like I maybe want to like go live somewhere else. And IBM had just bought the company that I was working for, and their workforce has always been heavily remote. So I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna like check this out. Maybe I can get them to let me go remote.
Hang on one second. I might have to. Oh, hang on. Scoot-a-loop. There we go.
Is that better?
I tried to kind of look through the mic, like I'm doing R&B, like jazz hands. Hello, there you go.
And I will be your comforter.
Nope. Now you're gonna have to leave. That's.
Tell me what's on your mind.
First of all, I thought you were going right into Christian music. I was like, oh shit.
No, we're singing some
I have a
Shy.
Tambourine down here. I'm just saying. Like I have just in case for random noises.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Dude, I keep loose tambourines all over the house. All right, I'm back.
Okay.
All right, we're good. Oh, hang on. You ever try to not hear your inner monologue?
No.
It's like a weird thing to try to battle. You're like, all right. You like try to angrily look harder in the air, but it's still creeping in there.
Fucking clenching your face.
Yeah. It's like when you get a song stuck in your head, you feel it coming, you're like, no, damn it. Oh man.
Y'all, we have been doing this together for what, 20 years?
Yeah, easily.
We've known each other since we were 13.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's when we met. So we have been laughing like this and giving each other belly and headaches for 20 years.
And then just ab hurt in the morning.
Oh, it's so painful. It's so painful. But it's rare, I feel, to have these type of friendships that you can still, we fall into sync like we've been hanging out since then. Since then.
Now there's so many stories I just feel like we're not even having podcasts anymore, folks.
No, this is just the way that Autumn and Kyle speak to each other.
We're also solving Rubik's Cubes.
Okay, so back to the California thing. So we moved out of California to go up to Portland because we wanted to buy a house, and it was a lot cheaper there then. I think now it's pretty on par with the Bay Area, but we moved up there, and
oh, look at this. Sorry, I'm getting comfortable here.
Yeah, you like it? Okay. Yeah.
Is this too weird? I didn't mean to go that far. I guess it's wrong of me to. Sorry, we're never going to get this. We're never going to get stories, but I'm just trying to get comfortable. Just tell your story, girl. What am I doing here? That's fine.
Do you need to go put on real pants?
Did not think that question would be asked. No, I'm good. I think I'm trying. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right. We're back.
You do your thing. I'll be,
Okay.
I'll be here.
So we moved up to Portland. We were there for a few years, and I did not love it in Portland. I think that's what really kicked off my seasonal depression, which we'll talk about a little bit later. I heard that on your last show, but yeah, that seasonal depression is a kicker. So I didn't really know what to do after my divorce, and I stayed in Washington for 1 year. So Portland, have you been to Portland?
No,
okay.
Nowhere. Yep, no, not.
So Portland is legit like one bridge away from the state of Washington, and in Washington there's no state payroll tax. So I actually bought a house in Washington, and then I would do my shopping in Portland that did not have any sales tax.
Oh,
yeah,
took advantage. Man. I like it.
But yeah, I stayed there to sort of get my bearings and figure out what the fuck I wanted to do next. And that's when I moved to Indy. And I was in Indy for 2 years, and I was like, well, I'm going to go back to the Bay Area. I miss it.
So you went from Indy back?
Well, it was the Bay, Portland. So Portland for 4 years.
Gotcha.
And then it was like, I'm not ready to go back to the Bay yet. Too many like bad memories. Like, where else could I go? And so I thought about Denver, and I was like, I could go to Denver.
So you could be Denver.
Yeah, I've got a nice base of people. Some of my best friends live there. So I was like, oh, Randy's out there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Randy's out in Denver. So yeah, that's where Carly and I went in November, which was a blast. But it's like, but then I just decided to move to Indy to be closer to my best girlfriend, Brittany, who I met in college.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I was gonna move back to the Bay Area, and then my sister got sick. So it wasn't. It was one of those things where I had just booked my Airbnb to move out back to California. Mm-hmm. And 2 days later, my sister found a lump.
Wow.
And it was like, what am I going to fucking do? I moved back there to be closer to family. My sister gets sick, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll be on my way to California now and let you do this by yourself.
Man.
So I was like, I'm gonna go home for a little while. And the cost of rent in this area is absurd. So when I was looking for a house, I'm like, okay.
You mean where in
this area, right? In South Bend, in Michigan.
Gotcha, yeah.
I was looking for a house to rent that had like a fence, right? And they wanted $2,500, and I'm like, we don't live on the West Coast. Yeah. I refuse to pay that much money.
It's like California weather.
Yeah, no way. Yeah. So I just ended up buying. I bought a place up in Three Oaks, and I love it. It's really
Just
quiet.
3 Oaks, right? Not
so it's Three Oaks. Yep,
okay.
Three
Where
Oaks.
was Prancer?
Yes. Yes, Three Oaks. Yes. So you hit my joint on the way up to New Buffalo.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it is. So right now the little town's like opening up, and it's really cute. And there's like a Flag Day festival tomorrow, and they have like big parties at the Legion. And this is coming from a girl who lived in Oakland for 8 years, so it's very weird.
Yeah, that would be those guys. It's like
everybody's in your business. They all want to know where you came from, where you going, where's your family, and because I live on a road with a bunch of retired people, and so I'm the young bird.
So you just like looked for like the most affordable place that was in, and you had to reach out as far as Michigan, or is Michigan just a big difference in price?
Michigan. So for me, Michigan was essential because I smoke a lot of weed, and so I needed to be in a place where it was accessible, it was legal. I didn't want to run the risk of getting in any trouble. So it was a very easy decision for once I had decided what part to live in. The inventory is so limited in those tiny towns. And I saw this really cute Victorian and I loved it. So I put a bid on, and it had been on the market for like over 30 days. Mm-hmm. And so they were just like, yes.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And I scooped it up right before the boom. It started booming.
Oh, okay. So I was about to say, that's pretty cool.
And it's awesome. The equity has already grown. We're so old now. Like, we're like, yeah, equity in our homes, and give me the Zestimate. I want it.
But I feel like it's important now. It's like the weird shit you have to think about when you get older.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 401k, your property taxes, all that bullshit. But yeah, I moved around a lot, and I was actually, it's so funny that we're talking about this because about a month ago, I announced that I was going to be finally moving back to the Bay Area because my sister's well. Mm. And, she's doing so much better. Her surgeries are gone. She's in remission.
That's
it's
awesome.
Amazing. And so now that she's in a good place, it's sort of like, well, I came here to do what I came here to do. The weather in California is worth every penny for me personally after experiencing the last few seasons of my depression. It's been so bad. And so I was like, oh, I'll move back. And then some crazy shit happened with work, and then the stock market took a tumble, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't put myself in a situation where I'm paying my mortgage, basing this decision on people Airbnb my house. Yeah. But if a recession hits, ain't nobody going to be renting that house. Yeah. So then I'll have a mortgage, and then I'm going to have to pay rent in the Bay. No. Yeah. That's a big no. So, it's great. My relationship has more time, which is, I love the person that I'm with, and I like to hang out with him a lot. So that'll be a really nice, added bonus. And yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna put some different shorts on though for sure, because I feel like it's gonna, it doesn't like me. We good, bro. We good.
All
we
right,
in there.
Good. Roll up.
Oh yeah. Roll up. So what else is new? So what do you do? What do you have fun doing?
All right. So what I do is I work I do computers for a company called SeatGeek, which is a Ticketmaster competitor. Ticketmaster.
I like SeatGeek. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was interesting. I was with IBM for 7 years, and I loved it because it was remote, and they're pretty good with the benefits and things like that. But during COVID, I had a team of 6 under me, and they just did all the work, and I maybe worked like 10 hours a week, and it just didn't feel fulfilling anymore. Mm-hmm. And in this sector, in this part of the workforce, you get a lot of messages on LinkedIn, things like that. And I'm sure that, like if you've got your profile set up for sales, same way. And so I got this email, not even in LinkedIn, but I got an email just in my regular Gmail box. And it was my now manager basically being like, yo, have you heard of SeatGeek? I really like your resume. I want to talk. Like, let's do this. So I was like, word? Because I was already a customer. So I ended up, taking the leap of faith during COVID and, moving to a company that is still not public, and that is always a lot more work. And, if you look at it from another perspective, there's not as much bureaucracy because it's not public. But there's, startups are startups.
Yeah.
Even when they're old, even when they're 9-10 years old.
No, because I've been looking. That's my thing. I definitely want to do remote because I like the ability to. I feel like I could do like some of my job back, like when you have to do paperwork and stuff. I'm so good at multitasking. I can get that stuff done quick.
Yep.
So if I get paid for a certain amount of hours, I got to do a certain amount of things. It's easier doing it at home because I could still work out in my gym right here. You know, it's in my dining room, and then hop on the bike when I'm out of work. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's the flexibility that people love, and I got to give it up to the young ones below us that are pushing the standard of work of employment. They're not taking the bullshit that was handed to our parents that were like happy to have a job, which is that's the way it was back then, and I understand that. But we're at a place now where people can actually be like, well, they're going to pay for me to commute every day. They're going to pay for my gas. They're going to help me with childcare, which you need to live a decent life in this country.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a side note there. Sorry to get all preachy.
No, I like it. I mean,
but I love the kids.
I mean, do they have any other option though? I mean, I feel like a lot of people get out of college like 4 years and they're in debt. There's not really easy transition. You know what I mean?
Nope, there isn't. Not anymore. And it's hard. The market is really hard for kids just now graduating. And, because all of these entry-level jobs want experience. So they're not really entry-level, right? And I think it's the responsibility of corporations and companies to make sure that they're still getting that market of kids. Because, whatever you want to say about the laziness of this generation, blah, 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 there are always going to be kids that want to work, that strive, that bust their ass. And you should recognize that. Like all of our internships at SeatGeek are paid and paid well. That's what companies need to be doing. And I'm hoping we're getting to a place. I'm hoping we're getting to a place where, that just becomes standard and we start paying attention to these poor kids that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on their education, in order to get a degree because you need to get hired.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know if you knew this, but there's a whole other change happening with the hiring force right now where companies are actually starting to drop the requirement for a degree. That is starting to go away because it's just it's a form of discrimination.
Yeah.
And it's not to the level of racial or sexual discrimination, anything like that, but it's still you can't get your foot in the door unless you say you have a piece of paper. And I know that we are not a company that requires people to have a college degree to work with. You just got to be fucking smart and willing to work.
Yeah, because even if you got a degree, I mean, let's say I got my degree when I was 22, I'm going to be looking for a job at 39, almost 40. So, that degree I got in, I don't know. I don't even know, I don't even know my state capitals. You need me to figure out what else, some parabolas? I don't know.
And most of us don't use our degrees for what we went to school for.
I used other people's answers mostly.
Yeah, bud.
I wasn't. I'm special. It was the math. I couldn't do it.
Oh, I had to take special math
I had it too.
In college.
I had a year of that. M014, or was that O? Yeah, I had that. Yeah.
It was finite 1 and 2.
Yep, I was in there.
But I'm going to say, Adams did not have the best teachers. Miss Palopoli, we just didn't even have to go to school. She just had to like you. And you just got to be.
You get her Taco Bell and she says she'll pass you.
Because you just had free reign and she'd just be like, oh, I love you. And she'd give you a B.
Oh,
and so then when I had to do math in college, I was like, oh, boy. Yeah. But can you remember the first time that you were able to solve like a complex problem with help? Like how proud you felt of yourself? Like stuff I thought I would never be able to figure out, like these finite math problems. And my head could never get around the fact that I could solve something like that. I just remember being so proud because I had a good teacher in the special math.
Well, no, looking at it again, I don't think I passed that class. So I don't think I even made it far enough to really. So my answer was no. See, Yahoo allowed you to bet. You could play euchre for money. Okay, this is like 2003. We're talking. Okay, and I didn't care what my teacher was saying. They put me in K201 and finite math, so they combined them. So they want to do Excel and a Venn diagram over here. I'm like, that's too much stuff, and I'm over here just. Playing euchre.
Playing euchre.
Yahoo euchre, yeah. I think it was one of those times I realized I can get a withdrawal fail still okay.
Yeah.
Get like half my money back.
Yes. I did the withdraw so many times. But you had to be careful if you were on financial aid though with the withdraw.
Especially I found a loophole when your company goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
Circuit said he was paying my shit. I was just buying rims. They still gave me the money, and I canceled, got half my money back. I mean,
yeah, I was on that FAFSA.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I just paid off my shit like 3 years ago.
Oh, you paid it off? That's awesome.
I was
good
like,
for you.
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, it wasn't like a ton, but it was like, I should probably just do this, It lowered my credit score. They were mad at me because,
Yep.
When you pay off debt.
Yeah.
Because it was
you're a piece
account.
of shit.
Yeah. You dumbass. Pay on that for years.
And then all that predatory lending that happens as soon as you get your debt cleared, they just come for you 10 times harder. Like, credit card offers like 80 times a week. It's like, stop mailing me shit.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Man, I just go right. I'm like,
I know where to find it. We're good.
Especially when you get it, because I had to file bankruptcy way back. And when I finally got my credit, I hit like over 800.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was awesome. So yeah.
That's a great feeling.
I got like 10 credit cards. I maxed them all out, and I'm losing my house next month.
Well.
I started playing Yahoo Euchre again, and I lost all of it.
Next episode of KQ Show is going to be happening in Bruce's basement.
Already moved my stuff down there. No, I remember what I loved about college was pretty cool, like, because you saw a bunch of people you never saw before. Like, it was, because high school was kind of boring. That's why I skipped so much. But
I never skipped. Ever.
You're a liar.
I went to school every day and did not ever skip. The end.
Yeah. I was skipping school, getting high, drunk. I had 6 kids, I think.
I think we actually hung out a bit when we skipped.
Oh, everybody did. I mean, there were certain things when I had like half days anyway.
Yeah.
I used to trick people. I used to get most people like, dude, come on, man. I'm skipping. You don't have any more school. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know how I graduated, to be honest with you. Or got accepted to IU. I don't. I mean, I wrote a really sad letter, about like my sad life to try to play at the heartstrings of the admissions, and I got in. But yeah, I was like,
that's called the hustle.
Shit's rough at home, cuz. You gotta help me out. Get me out. Get me out.
I'm trapped in.
And they were like, listen, if you forego your senior year summer and you come down to IU and you show us that you can maintain a 3.0 GPA, you can get in for fall. So that's why I was not around the summer after senior year.
Yeah.
Because I went down to IU like 2 weeks after that. And so I spent that summer at the campus, which I look at it now and it was awesome because I had a leg up on everybody. I knew where my classes were. I knew where to get food. I knew where the bathrooms were. It was...
So hold on. So go back a little bit. So they had you go down like a test, like summer school.
Yeah.
And like did you have to pay for it or?
Well, we was PO. So at the time, no, we did not have to pay for it.
I'm saying like it was okay.
Yeah, so it would have been money so that's what we thought. We got this letter, right? My mom read it and it was like, Autumn, you're in, but you have to do this thing and it's like $2,800. She's like, don't worry. I got you. One thing about my mom could fucking hustle. She could hustle with the best of them. So she was already like reaching out, getting into the resources. And then we got another letter like 2 days later. And it was like, because of your financial, blah, 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 it's paid for. And so I remember my mom just like sobbing. And she was like, I didn't know how we were going to pay for it. So yeah, I had to do summer school.
See, I mean, you're a little hustler. You always have been, though. I mean, that's good stuff that you learn from your mom for sure. She had that.
When you have scrappy parents, you learn how to scrap. And I still have a little of that hustle in me that, you have it too.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's that RP.
I mean, yeah. It's like
we know how to work. Our parents were blue collar people. And, we saw what it looked like to go for a 12-hour day, come home, try to make the best of what you got. Mm-hmm. You see how hard the little things are. That's it for me, is the perspective. And, it's like small things like being the kid who has a Lunchable like the rest of the kids and not some like nasty ass sandwich, right? Like, because my parents couldn't afford stuff like that. And so
Lunchables.
Yeah, Lunchables, man, those were a treat.
Did you get the fake ones?
The Aldi ones.
I know, man. I don't know if you can remember the name of it.
What is their what's their brand?
Sweet Valley. Tell me you remember some Sweet Valley Mist. Sweet Valley Mist. I might have made up that song, but
Dr. Lightning.
Dude, that stuff was so syrup. Like, it was like, hey man, have you had the grape?
The cream soda. The grape.
I couldn't do cream soda. It was weird to me.
The grape was literally 200 calories of sugar.
Dude, you pop that thing and bees would just come flying in that thing. You ever get a bee to the lip? Because they'll creep in there real fast, like a seagull.
You get a wasp's nest within
like
30 minutes.
On the beach. Yeah, you get a whole thing, and you can't move. I think it's a crime to kill them. So you gotta let them rest on your lip.
Mom, we were just talking about recently. Do you remember the soda Tahitian treat?
Come on. Yes, I remember Tahitian treats. I love
Do you
Tahitian
remember
treats.
how they had that shit in our soda machine at Adams and people would drink it in the morning?
Yes, I remember. So me and Pat watched remember the real nice custodian? He had the whistles off. Hey, yes, like the real whistly voice. Anyway, a food fight was about to get started. Like, that's when things get. We saw him take a Tahitian treat to the head.
Oh my God, no.
Just boom, just took it, and he's like, "Whoa, man, I felt so bad because he was nice.
that poor guy.
He was nice. Like we never tried
Those
to hit him
food
or anything,
fights was it the one in the basement?
all of them.
Oh, they were so bad.
It was that Pat Austin kid. My parents told me to stop hanging out with him, but
I mean, my mom thought both you two were goons. She never wanted you guys around. She's like, get that goddamn Kyle quick out of here. Fucking smart ass.
dude, it's funny. So it's like Pat still is the same way. Like, and Tanya has to kind of stop us sometimes, and he does that, man, when he gets that look. Like, now you add an alcohol, and it's just hilarious because we don't drink at time we get together. We have fun. He just does the thing, like looks down. I'm like, oh shit. Everywhere we go, he puts little things in everybody's hoodies, and still the same shit. Like, great, old Stone Age, Ice Age. Oh my God.
I one of the perks of coming home is having moments like this. Because no matter where I go, my childhood was here with all of you fine folk, and you guys. There's a lot of core memories. A lot of core memories in the river park. Like I'm a little sentimental about RP. And I will, every time I come into South Bend, if I'm in the area, I will always drive down our respective streets just to see where we grew up. And it's always this big, I'm really proud of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We came from, we didn't have super wealthy parents, but they loved us and they worked hard. And yeah, all of us, we all did well. What's also kind of crazy is the amount of us that don't have kids.
Yeah. I think it's because look at us. I couldn't imagine. You kidding me? Could you imagine if me or Pat had a guy?
Fuck no.
Dude, Ryan's got a 17-year-old
yes.
now. It's crazy. Maybe 18. So anyway, but that's crazy to think how.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's really the only. I mean, Justin had one kid younger, but yeah, the original. No.
Oh, geez. Yeah, well, Clint's got kids. And then, but no, Kyle Michalski doesn't have kids. There's a big subset of us. And my girlfriends even. I think it's interesting now when I look at my core group of friends from when we were younger, from high school and college, a lot of them don't have kids. Ashley, Kate, Christine, a lot of us.
Wow, I didn't think, I figured Kate would have a couple kids by now.
Nope. She's either first grade or kindergarten right now. So she's a teacher, and she's just basically nah, we good.
I'm gonna have to hang out with you all day.
Yes,
we're not doing
that's
it.
exactly right. But yeah, that was I never really wanted that life for myself. I wanted to be a business lady. I really did.
Well, you're doing it.
To be where I am, I've been very lucky, and I've been, I feel like I've been very lucky. I'm a hard worker, but I think I've had some really, really nice strokes of luck being in the right place at the right time.
But you know what your personality puts you in the right place at the right time a lot of times, by who you are, people remember you and they want to be around you. And that's where, that's kind of like, where my thought is my next gig is I want to find something that I do, I want to enjoy, I'm not necessarily want to be at, definitely nothing that's salary ever again, so, but I'll figure something out. Also, I'm trying to sell, fluids and things like that.
Sure. You got that prime sauce.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They like to call it sauce.
No.
You expose a little bit about your past right here. You start calling it sauce. Let me get a little of that sauce.
Some of that prime sauce.
You bottling that up? Just toss in the freezer.
Reminds me of our prank calls.
See, that's another thing I forgot. So wait, you remember some of them? They'll come back. Do you remember parts of them?
Oh, I remember.
Oh, let's hear it.
Do you remember the time we fell in love? Okay, yeah, so there was the nasty old lady. Do you remember her?
Head lettuce?
Oh, no.
I remember. Do you remember her? I'll put that away. Over here. It might have been. That might have been Ryan and Pat and them. We found a lady. Her name was Head, and then A, and then Latus. So we just kept calling her all the time. We ruined her life. But no, please keep going.
I believe we also ruined the life together of Sterling Weiner.
Oh my fucking God!
We called Sterling Weiner all the time. That poor man.
Didn't he start like he's like, I'm recording all of this call.
He was very angry at us. Because I had been prank calling that man for like 6 years. And that's like, now that I look back, I was like stalking him.
He was unlisted and you found him again and...
Oh my God. We've been friends so long, I think that we did the time and temperature.
Oh yeah.
Or the movie call so we could talk on the phone at night. Because, parents have that. My parents had a rule. Like, I couldn't be on the phone past 9. Mm-hmm. And so I would, late at night.
Be on by the street lights.
Be on by the AOL.
Yeah, and then you got to creep in.
I'd be talking to Sign PGL.
It's Synup GL. It was my dad's company.
That
you know how that originated? You know where that originated from?
No.
High school in social studies. I remember his name. It was the Rudy room in the back of the building. Yeah. So they were like, hey, you got to. It was for econ. You had to think up like a team name for yourself, right?
Okay.
So whatever you wanted to be, and then you pick stocks and everything else, and they tracked it. So and he's like, and it has to be. It has to be proper, quick. Like he looked right at me. He knew I was gonna fucking do something. And I mean, they're the same teacher, and I messed around with the remote. And it was fun. So I go. Oh, I'm going to use Synup GL. It's a company my dad owns. He's like, oh, okay. And then it was cool. Everything was fine. I didn't tell anybody I did anything because my friends were like, hey, no, it's a. So then I don't remember when it was, but somebody goes, oh, it's LG, like large. There's large penis backwards. I'm like, then I was in trouble. I made it 3/4 of the way through the school year, without him ever catching on or anything else.
Oh my God. He had to have laughed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was like, I don't know, it's my dad's company. I don't know what it is.
I mean,
I just probably played dumb.
Anybody that works with kids every day would have to laugh at that.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking hilarious. Yeah. I mean,
you were quite rambunctious in high school.
Yeah, so I could imagine.
Do you remember us in Latin? We were so bad. Poor Miss Hedman.
Man.
That poor lady.
Dude,
that poor lady.
When I had Red on here, he was just waiting to tell Miss Hedman stories because we did the stupid.
Well, we were all in the same class together.
God, I couldn't believe that's when. It was just crazy stuff we actually got away with, the Red talked about when literally John was suspended and he's putting loaves of bread through the window so we can pass our freaking Latin little project. And then Victor's also suspended. He's putting his dad's honey mustard wings from BW3s through the window. We're just like, I can't believe this is really happening. This is all before phones. We all would have been probably different
expelled.
Lives. Yeah.
I mean,
we'd have different lives. Everybody was recording everything we did. We were so bad. I feel like it was a good time actually, because there's the would you rather if you could pick a different time to live, would you or would you stay in this one?
I would stay in this one.
Yeah.
We got really lucky. We're that last generation, I feel like, before technology really stepped in. We grew up mostly without it.
Yeah.
And then we hit about 14, 15, and that's when AOL started picking up. And it was still pretty slow rolling for people.
Wasn't so accessible.
Yeah, it wasn't. And it was expensive, right?
Yeah.
And so if you were, lower to lower middle class, that $25 a month was a big deal.
Yeah.
My grandma did me a solid and got she paid for a separate phone line for my AOL. And then my aunts, actually the one that I lived with out in the Bay Area, and my Aunt Liz, who lives in Florida, those are my mom's two best friends. Mm-hmm. They went in together and they bought me a computer for my birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that's how I got started with being online. Because I had to keep that computer in great condition. So I learned how to find viruses and clean up the computer, and it was that's how I fell in love with.
Did you do it? So did you rock the free AOL disc for as long as you could?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, or multiple. You'd have to get multiple CDs.
You'd have to get different credit cards too. Yeah. So you'd have to I'd be telling my grandma, I'm like, look, Grams, I'm not charging anything. Trust me. No.
Yes.
Tell Grandpa to calm down. It's just on there after the 100 hours. I'm not going to use 100 hours.
That's right. And then all of a sudden they're like, Kyle, what did we tell you?
Auto renew. And
I got in trouble so often. And then before I got that single line, you're fighting with the primary phone line. you'd just be in the
Could you
middle of a
imagine?
convo and your mom would just pick up the phone and your shit was done.
Could you imagine now, like trying to explain that to somebody? Like, you mean you didn't have access to internet all the time?
Yeah.
Like, no, man.
No, it did not exist.
Yeah, because my dad didn't matter. My dad kicked you off for anything, just to listen to Walgreens tell him by recording that there's a prescription. I'm like, you don't need to listen, Dad. I'll tell you. Shit.
It's so true.
I was downloading a song.
Oh, and it was most likely a virus.
Yeah, I mean, there was risks that you would take.
Yes.
It was all of it.
Well, I think that,
This
learning
was
how
after
to
the Napster
find...
days, though.
this was like LimeWire.
Yeah.
This was because LimeWire was it after Napster.
Yeah, yep, it was after, yep.
And I remember learning and teaching myself how to find the files that were clean. And I really think a lot of that played a part in where I am today with my career, was learning how to use my brain that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I was usually successful, like poking around in the computer and finding things out. And I think it's why I'm on social media so much, and my job is computers. Like, it's always, and maybe I've got some ADD, I hear it presents different in ladies. And so maybe I have some ADD going on, and the internet keeps me, sort of like multitasking.
Oh.
So that's how I ended up with Salesforce, with that Salesforce experience, because it's clicks, not code. That's their whole tagline. And it teaches people who are visual how to build coded applications. And so it has opened this market to people that learn differently, that don't have the resources or didn't study IT, didn't study anything like that. It enables them to get into tech. And now it's such a massive tool that so many companies use that there's a shortage of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're looking for something, I could talk to you about Salesforce all day long.
Yeah.
Just learning that skill, man, in the door, I think administrators start at 75. And then you just fucking keep going. It's wild. And it's a tool that you can continually grow with. Like, I'm getting ready to get another certification for strategy design in the system. And so what I do at SeatGeek is I take Salesforce and then all the other tools that we use in our enterprise business, and I make them play together nicely. That's what
what is Salesforce?
So Salesforce is a customer relationship management tool. So when you think about, so for instance, I always like to use this. So one of our clients is the Cavs. And we open an account, and that's the Cavaliers. And then we have these records called opportunities. And those are all the different deals we do with the Cavs. And so that's what Salesforce is. It's a tool that houses all of that information. Contact info, discount approvals, things like that. It's a CRM tool. But there are so many applications that you can integrate it with, that's where I sort of found my niche, was like the integrations and seeing how the information flowed all between the systems and getting it to play nice together without erroring out. So when I graduated, it was with a degree in human development and family studies, and then I had minors in sociology, psychology, criminal justice, and human sexuality. I now work with computers. I don't use any of that unless I'm managing, which then it's an amazing skill set to have. And I love being a people manager. I really do. Mm-hmm. And you know what I really get off on? Hiring people smarter than me. Oh my God. They make you look so good. Strategy. It's the strategery. I almost always try to hire somebody that's smarter than me, but still has things to learn. It's an amazing thing to nurture somebody into the next stage of their career. I love watching that growth. It's awesome. I really love what they've done, and they're such an inclusive company too, Salesforce is.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to look into. I mean, it's cool to see, like, you just, to see people, in general, but you're just so excited about your job, which is like a rarity. People think you got to go to work, you got to put your time in, and then everybody hates your job, and it's good to see that. So
yeah, I do like what I do, and I work for a cool company, a lot cooler than IBM. Which people, when I would tell them I worked at IBM, they'd be like, they still exist." So now with SeatGeek, I can at least be like, "Oh yeah, we've got the Cavs and the Nets, and the Saints and the Cowboys. Like, it's a cool fucking place to work. I dig it." And they don't understand that I'm almost 40. All the kids that I met last week all thought I was 32. It was lovely.
You could pass for 32. Yeah, you know.
I thought 29 was reaching it. Somebody said, and I was like, that's funny. You're cute. I don't look 29. But I'll take 32.
Yeah.
It's a Botox.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a poison face. Yeah.
I mean, you got the good genetics, you know.
Yeah, definitely not. not the poison.
That stuff is just weird.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It keeps me from having to wear a lot of makeup, right? Like, because it keeps it tight and right.
I don't know. You're being serious or not?
No, I do. Yeah, I get Botox. It's amazing. I love it.
I don't know what that means. What is that?
Oh,
Does
okay.
it actually do stuff for you? I don't know what any of that stuff
Yeah,
means.
so it eliminates like fine lines and wrinkles in your face. And so like I have really deep smile lines. And so like it takes care of this so my makeup doesn't get all crusty and creasy in there. And then like my forehead, look, like it doesn't really move much. A little bit. But like I don't have...
Yeah.
It's toit.
It's very toit. Yeah. That's crazy.
And then you can also, I've had it in several different spots because I got to play guinea pig for somebody. And I have really bad TMJ. And you can actually get Botox put into your jaws and it helps alleviate the symptoms because it freezes the muscle. And so when it wore off, it like all of a sudden my jaw started hurting again. So, I mean, it does wonders. It helps people with migraines. I use it for vanity purposes. And now my TMJ, which actually I'm like, oh, I need it for my...
So what is TMJ?
It's like the locked jaw, like the tight jaw that you get. It's called, I can't remember what TMJ.
Where do you get it from?
Like grinding your teeth.
Yeah,
stress. You get it from stress, like clenching your jaw all the time, and so sometimes I have to like do these like exercises to loosen up the muscles in my jaw. Yeah, it's so fun getting old.
Got a fucking air fryer?
Yes,
I fucking love that thing.
Yeah,
everybody told me I would love it, but because I'm stubborn and I don't ever listen, it just sat in a box. Yeah, it's weird.
Oh.
It just sat in a box for like a year, and then the first time I used it, fucking money. Anything.
Yeah.
I did 2 layers of, I did like 4 big ass chicken breasts.
Yes.
And you pop them in the bottom, and then a little cage.
Yes.
Put them in there, and then kill the chickens.
Cage, yep.
And then turn it on.
Yes.
I left that thing in there. The top ones cooked faster, flipped them, done, and then the bottom was cooked. It was awesome.
So great. I love mine as well. It is such a time saver. I put everything in there.
Yeah.
Even steak. I put steak in there. Although you gotta crust it up on your own. You gotta do a little sear. Sear.
You see the thing about how to clean it? That little TikTok hack?
No. Oh yes.
It works. Just don't be getting out if I ring it high and forget that I left it in there. I'm in there baking water for 25 minutes. But no, like you literally fill it right past that line. A little dishwasher soap. Plop, plop, plop.
I like it.
Yeah. Cleans that shit right up.
Cool.
I like sweet potato fries. Well, this is my life. This is literally my life. I edit a podcast, have a podcast, make some sweet potato fries. Literally watch 11 episodes of something.
I gotta tell you, having to be in New York and go into the office last week was not it. It was not it for me. It was getting up and like getting ready, making yourself presentable, commuting through literally millions of people and going to put on the face at the office for 8 hours. No way, Kimosabi. So yeah, it was awesome to do all of those things, but I also like realized just how withdrawn I am. And like, I don't know about you, but there are at least 4 times a week where I'm sitting in complete silence in my house and I'm just like, this is the best. It's just quiet. All I hear are the birds and like some water somewhere. And I'm like, this is the best. And for me, it's like growing up in a loud house and never being able to like really get privacy or like peaceful sleep because, your family's nuts. It's so nice to have peace and quiet in my home. I love it.
Yeah. So I find it's just something funny. So the other morning, like I'll be here. Like I literally have my routine. Like I have a couple people I used to work with that still a couple friends of mine. Then we come over. We do our workouts from like 7 to 8.
Yeah.
It's like from 8 till like 10. I do like some selling different things online, whatever. And I'll go so many hours, and I'm like, you know what? I haven't made a noise, like physically out of my body. I haven't, because I'll just be, in my head, I'm all excited.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you got stuff going on.
I'm eBay slanging gear, and I'm not that dude on my computer, everything. So I'll just I'll make a weird ass noise, right? And I'll just for the hell of it, and I'll be like, yee! Something real weird, right? Just out of the nowhere. And then it'll just my camera in the kitchen will pick up the noise. And now I just go back and listen to how fucking weird I am. So there's mornings I wake up and I just walk around the house. I'm like, just making weird noises.
You're entertaining yourself.
But I'm just like this. I'm just like, man, if there was anybody that hacks in, they're just like, let's get the fuck out of here.
This guy's back on his bullshit again.
Oh, this is when he runs through like a raptor. Here it comes. He's like.
And so, yeah, I'll just dissociate and go off into Neverland. Yeah. Have me a gay old time.
Just people always have to kind of, hey, you with me? Hey.
I'm like a robot. Snap. You gotta like nudge. Be like, oh, she went away.
It didn't.
Should we host like a sex podcast on like, how to give kids information in a nice, healthy way?
Don't put it into her bottom.
Don't do ass to mouth. That could cause a viral infection.
And gingivitis. Well, train has left the station. Okay, so the alpacas. For a while now, am I wrong? Like, this isn't, okay, this really happened.
No, it's a thing.
Because I'm like, I remember, and I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, I swear she was renting them out like an Uber or something, or I didn't understand this. So when was this, or what happened with this? Give me this whole story.
Yes. Well, when I was living in Portland, I wanted to start doing some volunteering. And I had been working from home for a few years, and I was starting to, get a little stir crazy. I'm like, I got to get out. Mm-hmm. I really love animals, like weird animals. I like, hanging out with chickens, whatever. So, my ex-husband had told me that an alpaca had come to his he worked at a nursing facility, had come to the nursing facility to like engage with the patients. And I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, it was crazy. It like had on an outfit and like it had a hat on.
It read books to him.
Yeah. And you could give it carrot kisses. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, a lady that I work with, she volunteers with them and she lives on, an apartment on the farm. I'm like, what? So then I started following, there's a big social media following. So it's Rojo the Llama on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. And so I start following the account and I see this call for volunteers. And I'm like, fuck yeah, sign me up. So I went by myself. I drove to this farm like 20 minutes from my house. And we got to get the lowdown on the camelids. And so it was alpacas and llamas. They were all males because they, quote unquote, did not want llama drama. And that's what the females bring. So it's all males. And all of them have been hand selected because their demeanor and their interaction with people is very like predictable and mild.
Okay, nobody's attacking them.
No, yeah, they're very chill. So I got to go meet these guys and I got to put carrot sticks in my mouth and they would take them from me and give me a kiss. And I was hooked. I was done. I'm like, this is for me. So, yeah, I volunteered with them for 2 years. And what you could do, so Portland, they were really the first people to start doing this. So this company, so Mountain Peaks Rescue Animals, I think they might have changed the name, but they initially started doing this for nursing homes, hospital visits, schools. They're really big with schools for the blind. And llamas are very hardy animals. Like when you see them, they're pretty big and they're strong. And so like they don't, if their temper's right, little kids can really like get into the sensory part of touching them. And so that's how they kind of got started. And then like the weddings started happening and people started wanting them at their weddings. And then it blew up. And they were in BuzzFeed, Yahoo. They had been on so many news stations, everything. And it's just hard not to fall in love with them. So that's what I would volunteer with. If we would go to a wedding, I would be there to sort of help people, teach them how to interact with the animals, keep little kids from like getting towards the hindquarters because it gets them really nervous, things like that. So I know how to handle a camelid.
That's insane.
I have done some really weird odd jobs in my life.
I mean,
did you know that I went and read tarot cards at a haunted house?
Okay, I'm going to pee first before we jump into this because that's...
I was working for IBM as a manager and reading tarot cards in the basement of a haunted house. I can get into some good mental health stuff with this, though. So,
hey, I ain't got nothing but time.
The way that my husband left me was, we'll just sort of go back. It was very sudden. Didn't see it coming. I thought I was in a really great marriage. We were getting ready to hit 7 years. And I was like, God, how have we still not gotten in like a fight? Like what, I found my person, right? Everything was easy, right?
Put it a little, closer to your face.
Yeah.
Right.
And so my mom was really sick and I was traveling a lot for work and we'd bought a house and I had a hysterectomy. So I found out, so my mom was going through her cancer treatment and she's like, you guys got to get tested and see if you've got the gene. Courtney and I both got tested. We both had it.
Damn.
I took action ASAP and because I was already 35. And so with the mutation, essentially what they tell you is every year that you wait after 35 increases your chances of getting cancer by 5%. And you got to think we're already hovering at like a 75% chance of getting cancer. And so you're like amped up. Like it's not an if, it's when. When are you going to get cancer?
So now you said they found that they're able to test now and see if
they can test. Okay. Yeah, they can just run your blood and they can run it, like especially if you have a parent or a family history with cancer, they can run your blood against theirs and see if you have the same markers, and they can tell you if you carry the BRCA mutation, which science is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
So they did that with me, and this is all covered by insurance because ultimately all of this stuff that I do to prevent saves them from treating me from cancer.
Yeah.
So when I found this all out, it was like we were talking about having a kid and but he had kidney disease. And so it was like, I've got BRCA, you have kidney disease, and they both have a 50-50 chance of carrying on to offspring. Like, bro, I would feel so fucking bad if we had a kid and it had both of those things.
Yeah.
And so it was like, cool. I'm just going to get the hysterectomy because I wasn't ready for like the severity of doing the mastectomy. Mm-hmm. And this was easy. And I was like, I don't want a fucking period anymore. Fuck that shit. So, and I asked him so many times, like, are you sure you're cool with this? Because I will stop. We can, he's like, no, I'm cool with it. He was 11 months into an affair with another person when he told me to, backed me up on that decision with the information in my head thinking that we were going to be together. So, like, for me, getting that hysterectomy was sort of, I don't know, kind of bittersweet. Like, I really love the fact that I don't have to deal with any of that mess anymore. I had really bad PMS. Nothing hurts anymore, which is awesome. But who knows what could have happened if I would have met somebody and they really wanted children. Mm-hmm. That sort of to me was like, God, I didn't have all the dimes. I didn't have all the info. And it was weird because, looking back, I remember after I went through this surgery in December and I found out about everything in February, and he was like getting mad at me for really weird shit. Like,
So you found out and you decided to stay together and work through it.
No, so this was when I still didn't know. I got the hysterectomy.
Oh, okay. I thought you
still
said
didn't
you heard
know.
in December.
No.
Okay.
So we were still, everything was still on the up and up with me. Mm-hmm. I did not know he was almost a year in with this person. And I get this hysterectomy, and the rest of the year, when I look back, there were a lot of things wrong. And I was flying so much to see my mom, who was dying of cancer, and for the job that paid for the expensive house that he wanted. And he just got lonely and felt that he wasn't a priority. So he didn't say a word to me. He didn't say a word. And it was horrible. I mean, okay, so have you ever seen that movie, Love Actually? The Christmas movie, the romance movie? Anyway, there's this scene, and anybody who's seen this, which, any of the women watching or listening, I should say. So there's this scene where they show this husband shopping for a gift for a woman at work, and his wife is like with him in another department, and he buys this fancy necklace, and the wife finds it when they get home, like in his pocket, and she's like, "Yes, it's for me." And she sees it under the tree, right? And so on Christmas she opens it up, and it's a Joni Mitchell CD, and there's no necklace. And so that's how she figures out that her husband's cheating on her. So what happened to me, I went to go pay a credit card bill of his, and I see a jewelry store line item on his credit card, and I did not get jewelry for Christmas. And I called him, and I was like, "Hey, you want to explain to me what's going on here? Like, there's jewelry. What is this?" Just fucking clean as a whistle. "I got you this ring, and it was over the limit we discussed, and so I took it back, so the charge should be coming back to my credit card." And I was like, "All right, okay, cool, whatever." I was like, "I thought you Love Actually'd me." And he was like, "Oh, no.
Wow.
I also, at the time, there were just a lot of things that I really didn't, I was having nightmares. So this is where it gets creepy. And one day I do want to ask him if this scared the shit out of him, because I was having nightmares about him cheating before I knew he was cheating. And I remember he was coming back from the bathroom one night, and I woke up and I was just sweating. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "God, I keep having these fucking nightmares that you're cheating on me." And he's like, "Oh," and I'm like, what were you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, I was like in the bathroom." And I was like, "Were you on the phone?" He's like, "No, I was like watching TV. I was taking a shit." I'm like, no. My fucking spidey senses knew what the fuck was up. They knew. In my body, I was having panic attacks constantly when I was around him. My gut was just going off, and I thought it was everything but him. And whatever was brewing between us, right? Lord. All these like little things happened, and then after my hysterectomy, I finally healed up. And I had started hanging out with this girl that I actually knew from Starbucks in Bloomington. And her husband lived up in Portland. And
that's cool.
They're poly.
I don't know what that means.
Open marriage. So we go out one night. So his buddy comes into town. We're meeting up with these guys. And we decide that we're going to go to a strip club. And I really like strip clubs. It's fun for women.
You would like strip clubs.
Yeah, strip clubs are a blast.
I feel like I see you. Yes, you definitely be the type having a ball.
I fucking lay it down on them ladies. They working hard for the money. I love it. It's women supporting women. If they want to dance, they can dance. So I'm like, fuck yeah. So we go to literally the raunchiest strip club in Portland. It's called like Devil's Peak or Devil something. You can only transact in $2 bills. So when you go in there, you go to the ATM and you get money out, you bring it up, and they exchange it for $2 bills. It's crazy. Anyway,
smart. I mean,
we had a blast. We saw some crazy shit. We went to a few different bars, blah, blah, blah. Well, we go to bed, and a couple days pass, and my girlfriend Lindsay that went out with us that night reaches out to me. And she's like, "Hey, I really need to talk to you about something." And I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, babe?" And she's like, No, we should talk about this in person. And I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "Okay, how about tomorrow? Let's meet for coffee." And I'm like, "Okay." So Danny walks in my office like 10 minutes after that. And I'm like, "Oh, Lindsay wants to talk to me about something. I wonder if everything's okay." He turns white as a fucking sheet.
Oh.
And he goes, I think I know what she wants to talk to you about. And I was like, "Yeah?" And he goes, "Yeah." So when we were out with them at the second bar, I played footsie with Lindsay under the table while I was sitting next to him, and he was like rubbing legs with this chick. And so I was like, fuck, okay. So to me, that was a signal like, okay, like we have some shit to address. Let's work this out. So we started working on it immediately. I was like, let's go spice it up. Let's go to the sex store. Let's start going on dates. Let's relearn each other. Right. And he's like, yes, that sounds, yes. So he leans into that. And he sees me change, and he sees things get better. And all of a sudden it dawns on him, like, if she like it, he wanted to stay, and the other party in this matter, as he said, got frantic, and he was scared that she was going to out the affair to me, while we were working on things and things were getting good. So he ultimately, I guess that little thing that happened at the bar was to test the waters to see how I would react. And I chose to fix it. And I think he just felt horrible. And so, yeah, he walked into my office, and, like, I heard all this rustling out in the house. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just packing up for bowling, because he bowled every Tuesday. And then he comes in, and his eyes are bright red. He's not right. And he's like, I love you. And immediately I'm like, you stay right there. Whatever you have to say, you stay right there. You're not coming near me. And he sits down, and he's like, I've been seeing somebody for the last year. I'm leaving you, and I already filed for divorce. And I love you, but I can't do this anymore, and I'm just not happy. And I laughed. I literally laughed, and I was like, what? And he goes, and I was like, like, is this is real?
Jeez.
And this man, I mean, that was the thing, is like, you saw us together. He was a good husband, and it wasn't just behind the scene. Like, he was a good man, or so I thought. And never absent, right? He was always present, always, picking me up at the airport. The signs that were there, I just chose not to see, or they weren't there.
Yeah. I feel like everybody does that, though.
Yeah, it was wild. And so I laughed, and then it really started to sink in. And for me, I go into survival mode, and all I could think was, I have to get my financial situation lined up, because I am not going to walk out of this fucking belly up. And I was like, don't touch my fucking money. And he goes, I already opened myself a bank account. Like, I'm not going to touch anything in there. You can have everything in the house. I just, like, and I was just like, get the fuck out of here. So he left, and I was just like, what? Well, I literally felt like I was sinking into the ground. Like, your future is wiped out. The person that you love to death is gone. And you were just talking to somebody you'd never fucking met before. And I just, I went into, like, autumn, like, I couldn't stop making jokes. And I was like, well, explains why we never had a fight. Like, I started making jokes because I didn't know how to cope. And then later that night, I'm sitting in the living room, and I decided I'm going to sign up for Tinder, because, and we can be honest about this now. Towards the end of that marriage, it was getting to a point where I would look at him and be like, whew, you are not aging well, bud. And I gotta look at, okay. So, but for me, I loved him so much. He was my best friend. I can get around, I
gotcha.
So I was like, I need external validation. I'm signing up for Tinder. So I did. That night, I signed up for Tinder. I hear a knock at the door. I'm like, oh, my girlfriend was supposed to come over. I open the door, and it's the process server with the papers.
Oh, yikes.
And he's like, Autumn Young, and I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you've been served. And I was like, oh, man, this day just keeps getting better. And he's like, sorry. And I was like, it's cool. So I go inside, and I don't even look at him. I just throw him on the table. And I go sit down, and then, thank God, my girlfriend, Justine, showed up. And I always credit her with, she literally came in and held me as a friend through probably the darkest night I've ever had. And I'm forever indebted to that. It was such a That's a boss thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So she comes over and she's like, yeah, get on Tinder. See what's popping. She's like, have you read these papers yet? And I'm like, no. And she's like, I got you food. Let's do this. So she opens up the papers. I'm on Tinder. And like all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I have 1,000 likes. Like, what the fuck is this? And she's like, damn girl, like, look. So, cause I paid for the gold.
Oh, you
I wanted
up.
to see who liked me. Okay. There was a very specific
like
reason.
Button. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to know who was super liking, who was doing this.
I paid some coin on those.
Right? So I'm like looking through and I'm like, okay. Feeling good about myself, right? Getting that validation that I'm not a piece of trash that's been left in the fucking road. And she starts reading the papers and she goes, oh my God. And I'm like, what? And she goes, he didn't ask for any of the dogs. So like we had 3 dogs. We had just gotten a basset hound. Like he didn't want them. And to me, that hurt my little feelers.
Yeah,
really hurt my feelers. I was like, oh God, you didn't even want the dogs.
Man.
You know what he did want? My 401k.
Mm.
Half of the equity from the fucking house I bought. So I go back into Sandy mode, which my mom was a fucking scrapper.
Mm.
Especially when it came to getting that bag. And I've worked my ass off, and I'm like, oh, we about to box. So I slept that night. I woke up that next morning pissed. So I called him. I said, I want you to drive over here right now, and I want you to look me in the eye and tell me that you're going to take my fucking money after you cheated on me. You abandoned me. You abandoned our life. I want you to do that right now. He's like, oh, okay. I was like, you didn't even give me a chance to save. You didn't nothing. You just made up a whole narrative in your head of how you thought things were going to go and just proceeded accordingly. Like I wasn't even part of that. So old girl begs him not to go. He takes her car and drives to my house, drives back to our home. He is there in 14 minutes. It typically takes him like a 30 to get home. Took him 14 fucking minutes. Walked in, fell to his knees, started sobbing. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because when we were having this discussion, I finally broke and I'm like, you have fucking ruined me. You have broken me. And it was like he was surprised. And that to me spoke volumes. Like, of course you've broken me. You are my person, man. You have shattered me. It took me so long to open up to somebody. And oh my God. And in my life, I've seen a lot of men leave. I have a chip on my shoulder with men. I'm working on it. But in my mind, men leave. And to have that marriage where I felt so safe, and then I fucking got left. I got left, bud. So we decided to try therapy just to see if anything was salvageable. And I, in my mania, I said, if you want to do this, we got to do a few things first. And he's like, what's that? And I go, obviously you have to stop talking to this fucking bitch. I said, and we have to start counseling like this week. And 3, we get in the car right now and we go get your shit from her home together. And he was like, done. So I went to this girl's house. She was not there. She was at work. And I walk in and his stuff is everywhere. Like the dude is living there. And all the guitars I bought him, it's all there, right? And I'm like, I'm looking at her home, right? And I'm in comparison mode, right? I'm looking at, and it's everything I hate. It's everything basic. There's nothing unique. And it's like friends artwork and fucking her sorority symbols and all of her, there's no life in her house. And I'm like, I'm in the Twilight Zone right now. Like, this is what, like, she was your typical, private school Jewish sorority girl, IU, the IU Jewish American princess. Yeah, fucking Uggs, black leggings, North Face. That was her. Completely opposite of me.
Total opposite, yeah.
And I remember I went up to the room, to her bedroom, and there was a framed picture of her and my husband together on her nightside table. So I opened that up and I shredded it, and I almost fainted being in that space. It was so overwhelming to me. In hindsight, it was a terrible decision.
Yeah, it's not something you probably would have.
But I also, did not do damage that would cause...
Right.
Like, I didn't want to get in trouble with the police. I didn't want it to be this big white trash Jerry Springer thing. But, like, that was fucked up, man. That was my husband. And you got a framed picture by your bed, and we were trying to have a kid the whole time y'all were to... Come on. So, then we get all of his stuff, and he goes to break things off with her and give her key back and drop off her car and all this shit. And she freaks out, right? Because he apparently had told her we were in an open marriage, to which she responded, I don't care. I don't care. I want to be with you. And so, yeah, we worked on things for a couple weeks, and ultimately we got, in our last therapy session we did together, it was really interesting because the therapist called out some body language that I hadn't noticed. And it was, so like I was sitting like, very like open, and he is on the other end of the couch cowering like a kid. And she said, Danny, how old do you feel right now? And he was like, not very old, like he, very childlike. And she's like, okay. And I think she very clearly, and then he finally said, I don't want to be married to you anymore. And this was literally 1 hour before this session, like we had sex, and he was like, we're going to make it. And then we got to therapy an hour later, and he told me he didn't want to do it anymore. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, you just told me. And he's like, I can't. He literally could not stop lying to me. His need to please me and his need to self-preserve, he just couldn't stop. So then we decide to to take the conscious uncoupling approach, where we gently separated as friends.
Is that an approach?
There's a book about it, and
okay.
it was made mainstream by Gwyneth Paltrow, because that's how she and Chris Martin split up. But I found a lot of really valuable information that saved me a lot of bitterness in the initial stages of this, so I will never harp on that book, because there are some people that go into rage mode immediately. It varies by person. I went into... I need to do everything in my power to support me, to make sure I'm good, because nobody's looking out for me anymore. And so I stepped into full self-care mode. Didn't give a fuck.
Survival mode.
Absolutely. And 2 days after this all went down, I got a 25% raise. All of these great things started happening. And it was just wild, man. At that last therapy session when he said he didn't want to be married anymore, I remember asking him, are you sure? And I asked him that, several times. And the therapist said, why do you keep asking him if he's sure? And I was like, I don't.
You didn't fucking believe him?
I didn't believe him. And so she said, yeah, I don't, it sort of gave me I wouldn't fuck with that anymore. That was the vibe I got, because she even said something like, we're in this age where women are extremely empowered. You have a very powerful woman on your hands. And he was talking about, when I met you, I love that about you. And then he literally stole parts of my personality to build an identity. And then took me for what I was worth personality wise, and then used all of that to get the next fish. So yeah, it was, after that, I told him, and I told myself I would never beg. And I didn't. I never did. There were a few moments where I couldn't walk. I would literally just break down, but I never did the please, 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 please don't do this. It was more like, do you want to work on this with me? I think this is worth that. Like, I'm going to be very reasonable about this, because for me, getting desperate like that over somebody who did you so dirty, that is a level of self-respect I can't cross that. I can't. And so, because my mom, my mom, man, she was a fucking bad bitch. And, but yeah, he wanted to try. And so we... KQ Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the KQ Show, episode 15, instructional guide for your listening pleasure. For those new to the show, hi, I'm Kyle. I'm just like everyone else. I wake up, wring out my undies, drink the rest of my neti pot, and then I start my day. As a young lad, I had what my parents would call the gift of gab. I love conversations and talking with interesting people. I'll be chatting with business owners, athletes, Falcor the luck dragon, and the barefoot of an old wolf. Today's episode brings us talking with Queen Salesforce. I sit down with Autumn Young, the lead Salesforce architect at SeatGeek. She explains how the freedom of remote work has changed her career path forever, and how she's helping others find the same. We talk the importance of lifelong friends, travel, mental health, dealing with loss, and mostly laugh our asses off. So please, enjoy the show.
KQ Show. Got really weird after a while, and, there's so much crazy shit that happened, Kyle.
Hey, let it out.
So then that was when I decided that I was just going to date, and I didn't care. I was open to any and all possibilities. KQ Show.